have with me Mr. Atta Sial, who is graduated from UT Texla and is currently doing masters in China. So, first of all, thank you so much, sir, for having your time. Sir, kindly give a brief introduction to the audience.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Atta Sial and I had been graduated as a civil engineer from University of Engineering and Technology Texla, and my session was 2013 to 2017. And after that I have done a job at a construction firm. Later on I did a job as a lab engineer at Abbasine University Islamabad campus. And currently, I am I am studying as a master's student at Central South University, China. And thank you very much, Hasib, for giving me the opportunity
My pleasure.
to speak in front of all my university fellows who are currently studying, who have passed out, or who are going to study at UT Texla. And I think you are doing a great job. And
Thanks so much.
to guide and facilitate people around. And yes, I'm really honored to speak in front of you people. So go ahead, please.
Thanks, sir. It's my pleasure, sir. So I will be asking questions one by one. So the first question is that what qualities an individual need to get selected for scholarship abroad, specifically for China, sir?
Mhm. It's a good question. See, what we actually do here at when we are studying, we don't have actually a clear idea what are we gonna do in the future, right?
Yes.
For example, if someone has someone doesn't have any clear pursuit or aim, like whether he or she is going to do a job, or to go to do a master's degree, maybe studying further, or he or she doesn't have a clear idea whether he should do a job or a master's degree. And then if he or she is going to have a master's degree, then they cannot decide whether we are going to study abroad or locally.
Yes.
So essential qualities, I think there is no specific criteria for selection for to be selected as a international student abroad for any country. What I would
Yes.
suggest you to do is like you should have a clear plan. For example,
Yes.
when you are in the second or third year of your university, you should be looking for the scholarship if and only if you are interested in doing masters from abroad. So
Yes.
you need to choose a clear path brutally. I would say that
Yes.
that would be a brutal decision. Why? Because you need to pay the opportunity cost. For example,
Yes.
if you're going to have something, or if you want to have something in the future, you need to sacrifice something, and that is you
Yes.
need to do like you should have plans, like you should have plans A, B, C, D, but that should be the sub plans, not like
Yes.
you are going to apply for scholarship
Exactly.
and then you are also looking for a government job, or you also looking for a private job or something. So it depends
Exactly.
upon the individual circumstances whether he wants to if the financial circumstances of the individual is not enough that he or she cannot survive, or his family cannot survive without doing a job, then he or she must go for a job after graduation.
Pretty well, you have described all that stuff. Well, the next question is, what kind of questions are asked during the interview if you are going for scholarship, and what questions you are expecting for
Mhm.
masters?
When you are applying for a scholarship, it's not necessarily important that you are going to have an interview. Sometimes you get selected without an interview. Sometimes interview is required by the professor, and sometimes it is required by the international student office of any particular university.
Yes.
For as far as master student is concerned, I think he or she is not very research oriented background. Okay, so if he or she encounters an interview, then that might be not very difficult or very not very technical, because he doesn't have any sound research background. But if you're going to apply for a PhD degree, then sometimes professor require an interview before giving acceptance letter, right? And that's a separate discussion whether you need a acceptance letter for securing a scholarship or not. I will not go into detail, but this is like you don't need actually every time, you don't need to have an interview, but if you have, it's a smooth interview. And if your background is strong and if you're clear about your future, then it's not a big deal.
Yes, that's a very good point you said. Well, another question. It's an interesting one. that how did you
Mhm.
survive COVID-19 in China, sir? Tell
Oh
us
my
about that.
God. That's really interesting as well as challenging for me because I have survived and I have seen death actually through my eyes because
Yes,
the epicenter of COVID-19 was almost 300 kilometers away from my city. I was
yes,
in Changsha, Hunan, and the epicenter was in Wuhan. So I was approximately 300 kilometers away, and how I survived, it's like I can write a movie. I can write a story of the movie
yes.
for it because it's really interesting for me and it's really challenging for me and it's
Yes,
really what I could say, it's like it's an experience which maybe cannot written into the words, but if I summarize, then it was a lesson. What's lesson like? It's a lesson like if you want to survive, if you have, maybe if you have the biggest disease of the world, and if you want to survive, if you're conscious and if your inner self wants to survive, and if you are mentally strong, then no disease and no atmosphere and no external pressure can defeat you. So if you have like self acceptance, if you have like you are strong enough inside, and if you want to
yes,
say that okay, I will defeat this, whatever it is, whether it's a disease, whether it's a disease or pandemic or anything, if you want to achieve that, if you want to cross that hurdle, nothing is impossible. So yeah,
exactly.
cutting the story short, it was the biggest lesson, and it taught me to survive, and it taught me to never give up in extremely harsh situations.
That's pretty brave of you, sir, because whenever you visualize yourself in that situation, you
Yeah.
must be proud of what you matlab, did, whatever you did. It is a really proud moment for you, I guess. So,
Yeah.
moving on to next question. What kind of job opportunities are available in China? So, if one don't want to apply for masters and want to apply for job,
Mhm.
then what are job opportunities available there?
Okay, good question. Actually, in UET Texela, we have. I will be specifically talking about UET Texela students. Why? Because it's us, it's our family, and it's us. We
Exactly.
need to facilitate each other. We need to guide each other. So people who are coming to UET Texela, they are not very elite class. They are middle class. Their family background is middle class, and what you can do is you cannot afford too many expenses to go abroad initially. So what's the most easiest and the safest way? I would not say easiest, but it's the safest way and the most convenient way, I would say rather. That is the most convenient way to go abroad is to go on a student visa. Why?
Mm,
Because on student visa you don't have many restrictions. You don't have sometimes bank statement, and sometimes you are paid for the travel. Like it's more convenient and more easy to travel via student visa. So if you go to travel there by student visa, then you can find opportunities for a job. But if you are a fully funded student, talking specifically about China, if you are a fully funded student and you are being paid by the university, then you are not allowed to do job. And the stipend provided is well enough, and the quality of life and lifestyle at the dormitory and university is really good, and they pay you more than you need. So actually for securing sorry, for living a healthy life there, you don't need any job there. But if you really want to do job, then I would say you can choose any other country except China. Why? Because in China, I think the only thing, or the only one drawback of China is you have a lot of language gap. You face a lot of difficulties while communicating with Chinese people because they rarely speak English, and even if they can speak English, they are not so fluent. So if you don't know their language, you cannot do a job. So if you have a background of Chinese language, like if you already learned Chinese in Pakistan or somewhere, then you can find a job easily. But if you don't have a Chinese language course or something, then you should go for a masters, and along masters you can learn Chinese. And after being graduated, you have a lot of opportunities of working there because you know English, you know Chinese now.
exactly.
Not at very extreme level, like not very extraordinary. Just you
But
just can
enough for
have
job.
a, yeah. So you can do a job there. But if you want to do a job in China, I would suggest select some other country and then go there. And For UETN students, because they
For
cannot
engineers.
afford too many expenses. They cannot afford IELTS or TOEFL or some other certificates. So China would be a better option, and it's really worth it. When you go there, you will realize that their research and everything is really good. Yes, Asib.
Sir, next and the final question that what is the scope of work for engineers specifically? I mean,
Scope.
for civil engineering or electrical engineering, for specifically for engineers, that
Mhm.
are there job opportunities for engineers in China?
In China. I think I have like explained this in detail in your previous question. You this well, whenever somebody asks me that, okay, do you have like your study or your background has any scope, I would rather suggest him or her to, like, it's not the scope of your study, it's the scope of yourself. I think it's the scope of the individual, how you present yourself, how you work there, how did you actually spend their time, how did you actually and effectively spend your time in your previous degree and in your previous qualification. You know, I feel really bad when people talk something about UT Texela, like UT Texela is not good. You don't have, like, you don't learn
It's
from
really
UT
negative.
Texela. I would rather ask those people that whether you actually wanted to learn. Did you actually tried? Did you actually give it a try? Did you
There
actually
are also
approach someone? Did you actually approach someone to learn? You always blame, like, management is not good. This XYZ thing is not good. I agree. Nothing is perfect, and maybe UT Texas has many drawbacks, but it's much better than many other universities. I have taught in a private university, which is Abbasin University. If you visit, I would ask them people, like, if you visit that university and then you compare your university with that, you will come to know that UTXLA is far better
far better.
than that.
Yes,
So
exactly.
always look down, don't look above than you. The above thing is should be the inspiration. It's not the thing to be impressed. You shouldn't be impressed by that thing, but you should be inspired and work more to reach that level. And always look down, because when you look down you are humbled, and when you look up you
Exactly.
always face difficult things, and you always feel yourself down and you lose self acceptance. I think UTXLA is a really good place, and
Yes.
if you want to learn, you can, because university is a place is not to give you spoon feeding. It's your time, it's you're free to do anything. You just play with the things. I agree. There are not very research opportunities, funding opportunities. Maybe sometimes in your specific case, you don't have proper guidance from somebody. I
Exactly.
wouldn't mention particular name or particular department. But if you want to learn, you can learn from UT Texla. And my other suggestion
Proud.
is, please don't
Yes.
ever underestimate your institute where you belong to,
Exactly.
because if you are not respecting your institute, then the outside world will not respect you. It's my I have seen people doing facing that. Even if you think that management is not good, even if you think the education here is not good, just keep it to yourself. Don't even ask the other incoming student that don't apply to UT Texla, because it will give you a negative image to the recruiting person wherever you are applying to. You will have that mindset, and you will put everything your that mindset in your application unconsciously. So just be clear, be wise. My purpose is not to mock someone, not to degrade someone, or not to feel someone humiliated. It's just a suggestion from my experiences. And whenever you leave something, or whenever you join something, just respect that institute, and it's your time to learn, and you can learn that. Yes, please.
Exactly. So that's what I observed as well, that UT Texas students don't respect their institute, and there are reasons for that. But you're exactly right, because we must be proud of our institute, and that was the reason
Yeah.
I made a previous video about positive aspects of UT
Hmm.
Texas, because I want to show the positive side of
Yes.
UT Texas to the students, and it is very important to make them realize this thing that UT Texas is a very good institute. So, and I'm trying to do
Sorry to
this. And
interrupt you.
there
Sorry
is
to interrupt you.
yeah,
Sorry,
so
sorry to interrupt you. When,
absolutely, sir.
yeah, I would, I guess, again suggest people, like, if you visit other universities, other engineering universities, I wouldn't say NUST, I wouldn't say GK, FAST. PIAS because they are already at the higher level
Right.
than UT Texla, and I admit that. But if you are at UT Texla, just go down and see what people are doing and what people are. So I would ask them, when you are graduated, what's the difference between you and other graduates? What the skills you have got, what you have learned, and university will not teach you. Wherever you go in the world, it's you. You should have to approach someone to guide you. It's you. You should have. Uh, you should have the movement, and you should have the, like, thrill in you. You should have the hunger in you in order to achieve something. So it doesn't matter whether
Exactly.
you are at UT Texla. You can learn everything.
Exactly.
And I would say that utilize that time very effectively. Spend that 4 years very wisely, and you should have plan for each year, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. And CGPA does matter. CGPA does matter. You can verify this thing. During the pandemic, the IELTS, TOEFL, and everything was closed, so the main ruling criteria was CGPA everywhere. Whenever you are applying to Germany, the visa requirement was says that, like, you should have at least 3.8 CGPA out of 4. So you can imagine, like, the CGPA in points matters, and your life can changed altogether. Even if you have, uh, I wouldn't say that CGPA is always the ruling criteria, but the more you have CGPA, the more is better.
Okay,
So
better
try
choice.
to improve yourself, try to improve your scores, and yes, these were all a few things.
Thank-
So Hasib, do you have any other questions?
No, thank you so much, sir. It was a very pleasure having time with you, and it's a really great conversation for all of us. I hope so.